Hello and welcome to Billy's Craft Room. In today's film I'm going to show you how to make a selection of tags to coordinate with your handmade cards. For this project you'll need a selection of tags. These were created in part 1 of the tutorial. Some decorative cardstock, this can be hand stamped or pre-printed. Some Cuttlebug embossing folders, and you'll need an embossing machine to use those. I'm going to be using baker's twine, but you could also use ribbon or decorative fibres. Some scissors, a pencil, a gold marker, some cardstock, a corner rounder, a hole punch and a gridded cutting mat. Take a piece of A4 cardstock to coordinate with your base tags and cut it at 4 1/8 inch across. This will give you 2 panels with a small amount of offcut. Turn the card around and cut at 2 1/4 inch intervals across the whole piece. You'll get 10 tag toppers from an A4 piece of card. If, like me, you've created your base tags from a dark coloured cardstock, then it's a good idea to add a panel in a lighter colour to decorate onto, but also for the back of the tag so that you can add a greeting, a personal message and who the gift is to and from. To create these panels, you need to trim the cardstock 1/4 inch on 2 sides. You need to do this to all your panels. Trim 1/4 inch off the long side and the short side. In this way, when you centre the panel on the tag, you get a nice border. In part 1 of the tutorial, I showed you how to make a selection of different tag shapes. To coordinate your toppers to your base tags, take your paler panel, place it onto a gridded cutting mat. This one has 1 cm squares marked on it. Line your cardstock up along a short and long side and mark the diagonal across a 1 cm square. Move the tag across and repeat on this side. Trim back to your marks using the scissors. In this way, when you mat the 2 layers together, even your shaped tags can have a nice frame. You can do the same thing with the other design as well. This time mark across 2 cm squares, mark the diagonal and repeat on this side. When you layer these up, you still keep your border. Don't forget, if you've used a corner rounder on the outer tag, then repeat that on your panel. To add a hand stamped panel or piece of decorative cardstock, trim your panel to 1/4 inch narrower on the long and short sides. Trim the corners to match your base tag, and once it's centred on the panel, you will still retain your borders or frame. If you're making tags in bulk, how about adding an embossed panel to the front? You could ink over the top of this to highlight the embossing, and if you've got white core card, use a sanding block to sand back to again highlight the embossing. Take your coordinating cardstock, and if your base tag has a rounded corners, clip those now. Mark on the top of the tag where you'd like to cut, but don't cut it yet. Emboss your panel using your chosen folder and machine. And once it's embossed, at this point, trim back the top edges. And simply mat on top of your base tag. Attach your decorative panel to the front of the tag and a paler panel with your greeting to the back of the tag. And once the glue has dried, it's time to punch a hole. I'm going to use the crocodile hole punch because this will go through many layers. I'm going to use the smaller hole because I'm using baker's twine, and I've set it at a 1/2 inch depth. To get the hole in the right place, I want to centre it across this line here. Put the tag in, line it up and punch. Take the baker's twine and fold it in half. This creates a little loop at the top. I'm going to push this loop from the back of the tag towards the front. Thread it through the hole. This is much easier if the panel has been stuck down. Pull the loop through and open it up. Take the cut ends at the back and feed them through the loop, going towards the front. And simply pull them through. If you like a dynamic tag, you don't have to stick the front panel down, just make sure you hold it in place while you're punching. If you're making tags for a special occasion, then a gold edging can really make them look elegant. It's really simple to do and doesn't take much time. I'm using a gold calligraphy pen. Now this is a square-edged metallic marker. Give it a good shake and press on the nib to get the ink flowing. All you need to do is place the nib onto the edge of the tag and run the pen along. As long as you keep the nib in contact with the card, you will get a straight line. Go slowly and run it along all the edges. Keep pressing on the nib to keep the ink flowing. Go back to where you just left off and continue from there. Now the pen I'm using today is quite old and the nib is getting a bit furry now, so in some places it does tend to skip out, but I'll show you how to resolve that in just a moment. Continue along all the sides of your tag. Now if, like me, you find the ink has skipped out in places, just go back over it. Repeat this on the back of your tag for a neat finish. This is a good way to add a finishing touch without adding bulk to the project. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, do leave me a comment. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye. For more inspiration, please visit the blog on www.billiescraftroom.co.uk.